Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello everybody, welcome to our Success Thursday. This week we have with us Rohit Ratan Mani. Hey Rohit, welcome back.
Thank you. Looking forward for our conversation.
And it is such an important topic. We'll be talking about what success means for us as Scrum Masters. But before we dive into that, of course, we use retrospectives to try to achieve that success. So share with us first, what's your favorite retrospective format and why?
So if I have to pick one, it's going to be really tough. And I've tried a lot of different retrospectives, and I like to design and experiment with retrospective based on what I'm seeing with, what's going on with the team, what's going on with the organization, and then I design a retro. One of the things that I love to use in a retro is to bring some metaphors, how people interpret that metaphors and how they can bring that into their life, bring that into their work. And I love a book called Improv-ing Agile Teams by Paul Goddard, and it talks about a lot of improv games. And I've loved using a lot of improv games, and it's really fun. One of the games that I've loved and brought in my retrospective is called collaborative drawing. The idea here is each person, without thinks about how the sprint has gone and think of a picture that will depict their sprint, and without telling anyone, they have to, and each one of them, you have to give them a Sharpie. They stand in a queue, give them a blank page to draw. They're not going to draw the whole picture. They're going to draw 1 or 2 lines, max 2 or 3 seconds of drawing, and they just move around and stand back in the queue. The next person draws, the third person draws, and the whole team draws for the next few minutes. The idea here is integrating their thoughts and building a metaphor for their sprint as a team rather than as an individual thought. When I tried this out, the first thing, the first picture was, it started with a very abstract, but then the team started engaging. The team started giving it a shape. The team started giving it a meaning. And it was so much fun that nobody was talking to each other, but they were giggling. They were laughing. They were having fun while trying to interpret the sprint. And as the time finished, the picture made sense. And then I opened it up and said, "What do you think about this picture? What do you interpret from this picture?" And it went into so much deeper conversation of how they felt the sprint was. Right? And then at the very end, few actions came out, and I said, "Okay, before we close that retro, what would you like to call your creation?" And it was fun. Everyone came out with some fun, some name for this creative art, and it was something that really, inspired me to use more of it. Those metaphors, explore those metaphors, and get the team to go beyond what's visible.
Yeah, and one of the things that you said there, which I think is quite important when using metaphors, is to start with something that creates that or sparks that creative thinking, right? It could be a word game, it could be a drawing with certain restrictions, like you said, collaborative drawing, but we really need to trigger that creative thinking so that then when they get to the interpretation, they don't get stuck in the lines of the picture, but more on the meaning of the lines of the picture, right?
And if you don't get that creative juice flowing, the conversation goes more transactional. Many Scrum Masters come back and tell me, when I ask for, what happened in this sprint, they say, what have we done well in this sprint? They come back. My team member says, I've done this task. It's so transactional, right? But if you bring this kind of creativity, the context changes, and people think from a team's perspective rather than from an individualistic work perspective. What have I achieved in this sprint of just finishing my task, or what have we achieved as a team by delivering some value to the customer? So that's interesting. How do you change that context?
Absolutely. Great example of a very creative and potentially also a lot of fun retrospective.
It is, yes.
All right, but of course we do these retrospectives, Rohit, because we want to help teams succeed.
Yeah.
But in order for us to do that, we need to be able to self-reflect and understand what does success mean for us as Scrum Masters. So share that with us, Rohit. What does success mean for you as a Scrum Master?
So my definition of success, I think, lies in two dimensions. One, I would say, in a long-term success and a short-term success. Long-term success would be when someone whom you have interacted with comes back and tells you, sends you a message. I still use what you taught me, or I'm still get motivated by what you are doing. I still get motivated by what we had, the conversation we had years back. And it's so motivating when I get some LinkedIn messages back and saying, you know what, I'm still learning something new as we discussed, and your coaching had really helped me, or your guidance had really helped me. That's a success for me, which is not very clear right now when I'm having
exactly,
that
because it's so far in the future. So maybe we need to transform that into something a little bit more actionable, Rohit.
Yeah.
So how do you get there? Like, what are the things you're looking at when you're working directly with a team that may lead to having that kind of conversations in the future?
Yeah, so that's the short-term success. So this is where, so even before I go to the short term, when we talk about long-term, if you look at any interaction that you're having, and if you're just focused on getting results from every interaction that you're having right now, you lose sight of what can happen in future. You lose sight of empowering someone to make their own decisions, or choosing their own path. And if you're still focused, oh, we need to achieve this by this sprint, let's not talk about what will I like to learn, right? So when I work with anyone, any individual, I like to think of every interaction is like, you're like sowing a seed, and the trees and the fruits will come later. And then in the short term, I will need to nurture this tree. I need to nurture this seed right now. So I will, uh, uh, give some fertilizer, or put some water. That's my short term interaction. So just to give you a practical example, when I was working with a team where, this team was new in this building DevOps practice within their ways of working, and nobody knew about it. And people, the team member said, "Can we do some kind of experiment?" And I said, "Who's stopping you?" And and then that was a place where I said, okay, I would like to learn as well. When you have done something, can I join you? Can you teach me as well? So teach me back. So success for me was when I could build a safe in a short term space. I was able to build a safe space for them. I could give them that comfort feeling that even if I fail, Rohit's gonna be there, right? So I was able to build that safety. I was able to be successful by helping someone succeed. The team succeeded. And in a long term, I still remember this person came back to me and he said, who's stopping you? I keep asking myself this question when I am struggling in trying out something new. And like, who's stopping me in my life? So, and it's a very true example when this person pinged me after years of not talking to me after they left the organization, just messaging me on LinkedIn and said, you know what? I just wanted to say thanks. That question itself, or that statement itself, has been so influential in my life that I keep questioning if there is something challenging in front of me, who is stopping you? It changes their perspective. So, from a short term and a long term success factor. That's my way of working.
Absolutely. This also shows one of the things that I think is very important for us to realize, and a great tool for us to have as a Scrum Master is whatever you give the team, the team will give back to you, right? So when the team gives resistance, it's because you're resisting something that they are putting forward. When the team gives acceptance, it's because you're accepting them. And in this case, you gave a great example. The team said, "Oh, but can we do some experiment?" And you said, "What's stopping you?" You gave them freedom, and they gave you the freedom to then be other things for them, right? Like in this case, you then became not just the Scrum Master, but you a support partner for them, right? Like almost like a mentor, somebody who can open doors for them, even if it is as simple as through asking a simple question like, who's stopping you? And you just gave an example that sometimes these simple questions are the ones that stick in our mind and they stay forever, right? Like they become part of us, as you just illustrated.
Yeah. And it's so simple. The thing, everyone is so bound by what's happening around you that you feel, should I even ask? Because I remember that interaction, that person came to ask for permission. And I was like, why is he asking for permission? So, in that mindset, people don't grow, where they believe we have to ask for permission. And when they see that, oh, I don't need to ask for permission, I can take decisions as well. I can be my own leader. And that's where you can support leadership skills within each team member as a Scrum Master.
Absolutely. You can show the example.
Yes.
Great story. Thank you for sharing that, Rohit.
Okay.
Part of a successful Scrum Master job is to help the product owner. Tomorrow we explore that critical role in Scrum, the product owner role. Tune in to learn about product owner anti-patterns, what you can do to help the product owner, and a real-life example of what a great product owner is and what made it so. Tomorrow on our Friday Product Owner episode. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.